minute.
Von Miller.
And with that, Sports Lounge 155, Super Bowl 50 in the books. A dominating defensive performance, 24-10 of the Denver Broncos. It was only they win their third Super Bowl. Peyton Manning wins his second Super Bowl. Von Miller's the MVP. Carolina played a defense, pretty goddamn good defense, many sacks, and you thought if Denver was going to win this game, pull the upset for the ages, and win this game that nobody picked them to win, that it was going to be in this fashion. Nathan Stacken, everybody was picking Carolina.
Well,
Trotton Kirk says, nah, not quite yet. What did you think of this game? Wasn't one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen, probably towards one of the worst Super Bowls I've seen.
No, it was a clearly dominant defensive performance by Denver, and I think you go to the old adage that defense wins championships, and that was certainly evident in this one. Carolina had a lot of opportunities that they failed to capitalize on. Offense really couldn't do much of anything. Give a lot of credit to Von Miller and the Broncos for really not allowing them to get anything going in the run game. Cam was off on several of his throws, always throwing high. But I do think a turning point in the game came fairly early with the challenge, or when the officials ruled that Jericho Cotry's catch was incomplete, and replay evidence looked like that call should have been reversed. But then again, once Mike Carey said it was a catch, you knew it was going to be incomplete.
That play, that they fumbled a couple plays later, I thought it was a catch. I don't know why it wasn't a catch. David, was that a catch?
Yeah, probably. But I'm just happy I won money tonight, and I'm one of the stupid fucks that picked Denver, and look at me now.
I bet $1. I bet $1 American dollar, Denver minus 7.5 to win $5. So I went all in on my $1 bet to win 5. So there you go. As Stacken said, defense usually trumps offense. Charlie, did people just not think that Denver's defense could stop Carolina, or that maybe Carolina? Carolina's defense played pretty well. There were a lot of turnovers there. But do people maybe forget that Denver's defense is probably the best there is?
I think part of it was just that we saw Carolina bludgeon the Arizona Cardinals, and that was the most recent thing we'd seen. And Denver beat New England, but it was not like Denver blew them out of the water. Although Denver played. And I thought that Denver would play well defensively, but just would be on the field too often and give up a few too many points. And I mean, if we're completely honest, the game actually played out a lot like I thought it would. It was just the two roles were flipped essentially with which team scored which points. And I'm going to slight pat myself on the back for saying that if Denver was going to win, they'd need to have an all-time defensive performance. And I think they certainly did that. I don't know where I'd rank them compared to other all-time great defenses, but I don't think I've ever seen a team in a championship game win with such a poor performance from their offense. I mean, I'm sure it's happened before, just I don't remember witnessing it ever, where they literally got no help from their offense, basically, the majority of the game, and it basically didn't matter at all.
Marcus, what are some of the things that you found as far as stats, as far as the quarterbacks go?
I don't have it now. I don't have it in front of me, but
Bob Greasy wasn't any good.
Bob Greasy, the worst quarterback ever to play Super Bowl. I think he had 76 yards, and they beat the Vikings. Dolphins did
6 to 7 passing.
Yep. So, and Peyton Manning, I believe, had a little bit more than that, but not much more.
I can't remember, David. Charlie.
Or I was just going to say that, I mean, I'm not going to proclaim that Peyton played great by any means, but he did have 3 or 4 big throws into tight windows that he needed at opportune times that helped Denver out. So he did make a few throws, but obviously this is not the Peyton that will go down in history that we all remember, and they basically won in spite of Peyton more than because of him.
Demaryius Thomas had several big drops. And he's had drops all the drops.
Well, I think he died early in the second quarter when Luke Kuechly murdered him, but.
Let's see. Apparently, a girl from Minnesota scored 60 points today. Holy hell!
Yep. Rachel Banham. She's the only good thing about Gopher Hoops right now.
David, I don't remember watching a Super Bowl where the defense and the turnovers were so important. Basically, the difference in the game, even though it was a 14-point victory, was that strip sack touchdown. It comes down to that. The defense was unbelievable. I don't remember a game, like that where turnovers were so huge.
I can't think of many, especially not as big as games as Super Bowl, obviously. But unlike many others, I thought tonight was semi-entertaining. I mean, what more could you really ask for? It was a one-score game until really late. Yeah, the offenses were pretty shitty, but there was turnovers, there was plays that you were left to scratch your head and play calling, and everything you ever wanted besides the points. Now, everyone's fallen in love with the 38-35 games the NFL has turned into recently, but I got as much or more out of it tonight than I did a lot of these games, these playoff games that came down to the wire, and high scoring the defense is sucked. It like Jack said, it proves the old adage that the defense wins championships. And Carolina, it's amazing what happens when they don't win the turnover battle by 5 every week. They aren't quite as good.
Peyton Manning, 13 of 23, 141, no touchdowns, had that one interception. MVP, Cam Newton, 18 of 41, 265, no touchdowns, 1 interception, 55 rating, 6 rushes, 45 yards. Played like the Cam Newton of the first half.
2 fumbles.
2 fumbles, sacks.
Seems like it was more than that.
It was an unbelievable performance by Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware and T.J. Ward got a couple of turnovers there. He was the beneficiary of that. So a tremendous performance there. Peyton Manning, 2 out of 2 Super Bowl wins. He gets there 4 times. Final game for him as he wraps it up. I have a hard time believing that anybody would not put him in his top 5. Marcus, Peyton Manning, your cousin's with him somewhat. Your guy, final game. Did this game matter as far as that legacy talk is concerned? 1 versus 2 Super Bowls?
I mean, I don't know. For some people, it's going to matter. For some people, they're going to say, well, he didn't do anything, so they're...
Yeah, even though he wasn't the reason why they won
the Super Bowl, and I think somebody else pointed out that he didn't do much in the Super Bowl they won either. You still can't take it away from him. To me, a lot of people have made quite a bit of his regular season success, and I know on the broadcast they mentioned a couple times that this was the 200th win between the regular season and the playoffs. It's the most of any quarterback. In the Brady Manning debate, I've always liked Manning, but it's no question that Brady's the better quarterback as far as winning championships and that sort of thing. I mean, they're just different guys. I mean, they're both going to be, for me, they're probably going to be, they are 1-2 in my lifetime, and I didn't see Joe Montana, but I'd probably put him either 1 or between Brady and Manning. So to me, Manning's no worse than third all time.
Charlie, anything to add? Peyton Manning, either the best or second best quarterback you've ever seen?
To me, it helps them that he won a second one. But I'm not going to pretend like that makes him the great. I mean, I think I would essentially just echo what Traxler said. I think if you want to say that a guy, if you're going to talk about like building a team around a guy in a fantasy draft or something, that's different. But if we're going just based off resume alone, in all of our lifetimes, I think you've got to say that Brady's number 1, and then I would have Peyton as 2. I mean, unless Aaron Rodgers keeps playing fantastic for another 5 years and wins another Super Bowl, I'd probably say Peyton. Well, I don't want to get into that because he's still got career left, but yeah, I would say that Brady's 1 and Peyton's 2.
Nathan, how unlikely was this a month ago, 6 weeks ago? Denver could have been they were the 1 seed, could have been the 5 seed, could have missed the playoffs a game or 2 here. How amazing is this that Denver, Peyton Manning led Denver won the whole thing.
I think what benefited them most was New England laying an egg in Miami the last week of the regular season, because if they don't get home field advantage, they don't make it to the Super Bowl in my mind. Home field advantage helped them a ton in this one. They get to take down a Pittsburgh Steelers team that was quite undermanned. Not surprised that they beat New England. Not surprised that they beat Carolina in this one, even though I did pick the Panthers. I could sense an upset coming, though, this week. I think it...
I mean, are you really coming with the not surprised thing? Nobody picked them against New England, and nobody picked them in this game. I mean, I realize the spread was only 5 or 6, but none of us picked.
No,
this game.
I'm just saying the outcome
outcome
does not shock me. But I do think they benefited by This would not have happened if New England hadn't lost to Miami on the road.
Sure. They had to have home field, and they got it. Yeah.
Yep.
Just real quick, I thought Kriens picked Denver to win.
Okay, so one of us.
I'd like to bet two of us. I bet a lot of money on Denver to win, and I won. So thank you very much.
Rumors are that David Schottenkirk bet half the house on Denver to win this game. So.
$800, $800 outright, $400 in my pocket. Let's go.
Double your money. Boom.
I would like to play off of the point that Charlie made. You know, how important it was for Manning to get 2 as far as the optics look of it. I mean, you don't have to go any further than Manning's bunk bed that he shared with Eli as a kid. Considering that Eli won 2 championships. Mainly for getting hot at the right time. I think everybody would agree that Peyton was a better quarterback, but it just goes to show what how things can be dramatically different, even though Super Bowl wins are going to be on equal pegging, unless Eli wins another one.
Eli knew how big of a deal it was. We all saw his face when he figured out Denver was going to win, and he was going to tie up 2 Super Bowls. Eli, I've never seen a brother be so upset that his brother won something.
That was not jubilation.
He still has one more Super Bowl MVP though, so that he's got that in his back pocket.
Oh, good for him.
Suck on it, he says.
That's the equivalent of debating semantics, though.
Does he have a hotter wife, Schottenkirk?
Eli's wife hotter than Peyton's? Fuck no.
Right. So he doesn't have that. We can go Brady Manning all day long, but I would say Eli Manning winning those 2 Super Bowls shows you the game of luck that has to be played in the playoffs. Overtime in Green Bay, you beat New England twice, very fortunate there. And some balls didn't bounce Manning's way in the playoffs a lot of the time. And Brady, they did. Game-winning field goal after game-winning field goal after game-winning field goal after pass in the end zone, Malcolm Butler done. So, I mean, it's not outrageous to think Brady could have been 0-5, 0-6.
Not outrageous. It's not outrageous to think he could be 6-0 either, so we could go.
No, either way.
Yeah.
Not much of a difference there.
I do think it's interesting that Manning, for years, he's always been the dominant one on the offensive side of the ball, and his defense has oftentimes let him down. And this year, when he was down, it was the defense that really picked him up.
Yep.
They have the stat here. The Broncos joined the Baltimore Ravens from 2000. Fewest offensive touchdowns in a season, winning the Super Bowl, including the playoffs. Both teams with 36.
And it really pissed me off.
Their defense made up for it in the playoffs. In 3 games, their defense gave up 44 points, so less than 15 points per game by the Broncos D in the playoffs.
And I really wanted to see them win the game without an offensive touchdown, and it really pissed me off in the field goal. I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think anybody's won the Super Bowl without an offensive touchdown. Maybe it's happened a couple times, but not that I remember right offhand. So Peyton Manning wins the second game. Apparently he's going to drink a lot of beer, is what he said numerous times. So that's what.
Don't you know Denver's a Coors town? Don't you know?
You don't have a clue.
That's a Boots thing.
That's a Boots thing. We do have one viewer. Maybe it's Amin. Maybe it's Boots.
No, we're getting live pictures in from Almond right now. I'm getting my ear, and here's Drew Almond, if you can see that or not. Big old smiley face. He's just back and enjoying it all and soaking Cam Newton's performance in.
7 sacks. Cam Newton went through his numbers.
And I don't think this should kind of be an indictment on Cam Newton as a whole.
Yeah,
But
absolutely is.
hang on a second for 30 seconds.
In the spot of Drew Alman this week, Marcus Traxler, go.
No, I'm just saying that he didn't play very well, but he only made it worse by not really showing up for the post-game presser and kind of being a big baby about it.
He did it?
That's not going to help with the hot take machine tonight, tomorrow.
Here's what I said. I said I'll be interested to see next year or in a couple of years when they're 8-8, 6-10 again, 7-9. We'll go back to Cam Newton's not the greatest of all time. Cam Newton's like I thought he was at the beginning of the year, halfway through the year, the way I thought he was last year. And I really liked how much of a bitch he was there at the end when he almost got a safety and goddamn, my guy hit me. Well, got your ass kicked, 7 sacks, about a dozen more hurries. So, David Jottenkirk, your man did not play well. It's a stunner, and you got a defense like that. Pressure. He overthrew some guys, overthrew a lot of guys, also had a lot of guys drop passes. But a poor performance by the MVP of the league.
Obviously, I didn't expect him to tear Denver's defense up. I figured they'd contain him decently. I didn't think it would be as dumb as it was tonight. You could tell, I don't know if that was the first quarter or second quarter, when Cam had that 11-yard scramble off to the left and T.J. Ward came flying over the top of him, and it kind of looked like he was trying to make the big hit. Cam got up and was looking back at him like shaking his head. You could tell right there and then he was rattled and he was already letting the small things get to him, and it didn't get any better. Missed a few throws, like you said, had receivers drop a few throws there at the end, and when he, like you said, the safety, all that, it was just, he was out of pressure got to him, and it happens. For Drew's sake, if he watches back, or if he's watching right now, Cam Newton's a very fine quarterback. He's an elite athlete. He's had a decent career. He's going to have a very good career. We're not arguing that. Are they going to make it back to the Super Bowl? I mean, stranger things have happened. They might make it back. I mean, they very easily could. They've got a very good team, but as a 17-1 team, I mean, absolutely everything went right in a few playoff games, and they destroyed a few good teams. Tonight things didn't go right. Offense didn't show up. Sure as shit, they lost. So 17-2, and I'd say there's at least 10 teams that are better than my lifetime that losing teams in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing how. I mean, we were on the brink of. Some people were on the brink. I would say I wasn't in this camp, but people saying 18-1, one of the best NFL teams ever, and I wasn't ready to buy that, even though I thought the Panthers were going to win tonight. That would have been a shame if people thought the Panthers were one of the best teams. Now maybe if they come out and just blow the doors off of the Broncos tonight, maybe we really can have that discussion. But it didn't happen. And Denver, I mean, I was kind of incredulous this whole season on the way that the Panthers' offense was built, and tonight it kind of showed through. I mean, other than Greg Olsen, I wasn't really that impressed with any of their weapons, and they didn't have much, especially against a really good defense.
I know a few weeks ago, Kriens said that when it comes to what's more important, good quarterbacks or good receivers, that he said that he thought that quarterbacks make receivers more than the other way around. And I would agree with that. I think most people would. But there comes to a point where you need your receivers at least to be of a certain level. And basically, other than Greg Olsen, I don't think the Panthers had that. And that might have helped them. I don't know. The pass rush was so ferocious, maybe it would not have. But, when you're trying to rely on Ted Ginn, who's running out of bounds and stuff all the time, I don't know if that's what you want if you're trying to win a Super Bowl.
To me, it's proof of I can at least think of 4 Super Bowl winning teams now in the last 10 years or so. The Giants both times, the Seahawks a couple years ago, and the Broncos tonight, where the pass rush was the primary reason their team won the game. I mean, both those Giants wins, Seahawks were all over Manning a couple years ago, and Newton had no time tonight. That's helped. I mean, that's a key to win a Super Bowl without a doubt.
I know. Recently, I had been wondering if with all the rule changes, because obviously all the rule changes make it harder to play defense, and I think some of them are good changes that I'm glad they made, but they certainly make it harder to play defensively. And I was wondering if we would ever get to the point where defense doesn't matter as much, and there's games like this, I think, kind of enforce that while offense maybe is more important than it used to be, if you can still play elite defense, you're going to win a lot of games and you're going to have a chance at beating anybody. I mean, if you hold somebody to 10 points, you're always going to have a chance at least.
Well, think about the flip side of this matchup and the flip side of last year's matchup. I mean, a lot of talk about Seattle's secondary, a lot of talk about Josh Norman and Aqib Talib for Denver even. But it's a pass. I mean, it's a pass rushers, and the rules once a pass is thrown are built in the offense's favor. But that's why pass rushing is at such a premium, and it's still proof that if you can get home to the quarterback, it doesn't matter what kind of rules they have in effect because you can hit the quarterback, you can take him down, and those are huge plays in the game.
And I really feel bad for Blindside and the other white guy right tackle. They did not do the. Now, granted, they were going up against elite pass rushers who would probably make anybody look bad, but they did not do anything to help their cases in the future. Especially the right tackle. He played poorly against Von Miller.
Who was that? Remmers, I think.
Some guy from Oregon State. I don't remember.
My favorite part of Michael Orr is how much he hates the movie Blindside and how that's just all I associate with him. And then him getting his ass kicked. I'm just like, Blindside, could have used Sandra Bullock, just endless dumb jokes at his expense. And I know he hates the movie, and it's funny.
I think I've said before, the era of the 5,000-yard passer, I think we're in a transition, or the transition is done, but that's not quite as prevalent with Brady and Manning and Breeze and all those guys at the end of their career. You've seen Seattle the last 2 years. You see Carolina, very good defense. Denver, very good defense. I don't know how good Baltimore's defense was when they won it a couple of years ago, but San Francisco defense, I think, was pretty good that year. So it goes to show if your defense is one of the top 2 or 3 in the league, probably going to get to the Super Bowl. So good job with the Vikings getting the defense. That'll be fun. Cam Newton, 6 rushes, 45 yards. Nathan Stacken, anything else you would have done different offensively? They ran the option, it looked like one time, had a pretty good success on that, 10, 15 yards by the running back. I don't think they ever ran that play again because why would you? They only gained 15 yards. Anything different running-wise, maybe more designed runs from Cam Newton?
I don't know. Denver seemed to have the ground game sniffed out pretty well. So I guess from Carolina's standpoint, you just had to keep trying to see if you'd be able to gain some positive yards. You could do the option play a little bit more. I just think Denver was ready for whatever Carolina really had to throw at them, and Marcus or David said it best that once Newton got rattled, once he got hit, he was rattled, and the Broncos were in his head there on out. So, I mean, they had, 3 plays in the third quarter of over 40 yards or something like that. They had over 120 yards in the midway through the third quarter, and they only had 3 points to show for it, or maybe 0 points. Missed field goal and interception. They just killed themselves. I mean, they really didn't. Coming out of the locker room at halftime, thought they looked like a different team, but they just kept shooting themselves in the foot with stupid penalties or miscues like that missed field goal or that interception. I think that's what really did them in.
It has to be said too. We've given a ton of credit, rightfully so, to DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller. If anybody wants to go back and rewatch this game or watch the film, the two defensive tackles for the Broncos tonight were absolutely fantastic as well. That was a huge factor. Keeping him in the pocket, getting internal pressure. That way, Ware and Miller could finish them off when they got there too. Sylvester Williams and Malik Jackson both played outstanding as well. Overall, all 4 guys on the defensive line, and Wolf had a few big plays. It was just absolute physical domination.
And it is interesting to note, I know CBS threw the graphic up there, that when Denver was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, Miller was out and Wolf missed the game. Now that Seattle was steamrolled everyone that year, so Denver probably wouldn't have won that game against Seattle, but it certainly could have made a bigger difference and made that a much closer game.
I believe you asked me this question a couple days ago, and I think you agreed with me. I will pose this question to Mr. Schottenkirk. Would Denver have gotten to the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl if Brock Osweiler was your quarterback?
It's entirely possible, and we were talking about that with a group of friends that I was watching with, and even a little bit on Twitter at halftime is like, would Denver be up by more if Brock was playing? And it was a legit question you can ask yourself. And with that defense, Brock wasn't terrible. I mean, he beat the Patriots in the regular season match when he played. He had a few decent games. Obviously, nowhere near the experience and not the name that Peyton Manning has, but it's hard to argue against what we saw that defense do the last few games, that they wouldn't have made it if not won it with Brock instead of Peyton. But I don't want to take anything away from Peyton. I know I've been, this year in particular, I've been super hard on him whole nine. I'm glad that he got his second one. He's been good enough where he deserved, and he's earned multiple Super Bowls. He has it. I swear to God, if he doesn't retire, he is the dumbest motherfucker on planet Earth.
Please hang it up.
Yes, please. It's a storybook ending. Please do not ruin it.
A good tweet here from the Panthers beat writer for the Charlotte Observer said that another person had said about Cam recently that he's the world's best winner and the world's worst loser. Tonight showed that again, and it seems to be
damn straight.
Seems to be painfully true. I mean, part of the deal. I mean, every great quarterback, pretty much, except for if you're like a, I guess I don't have a good example because I'm pretty sure.
Morale.
If you're not Earl Morale, and even he lost in the Super Bowl, but I don't have a good example, I guess. But
unless you're Joe Montana, who never lost.
That's right. Unless you're Joe Montana, pretty much all these quarterbacks have lost in the big game, and that's just part of the deal.
What?
They got a picture of that beat writer?
Where?
Is he white?
He's a white guy. Yeah, he kind of looks like Mike Gundy.
Does he have red hair or not?
No, looks like he has blondish brown hair.
Do you know his name?
Joe Person.
Okay. Don't know Joe Person. Big games, big plays of the game. We talked about the catch. That was amazingly not a catch. The missed field goal.
Real quick on the catch, of all the was it a catch or was it not a catch, to me personally, this was by far the most obvious a catch out of all of them, like of the last decade, that was said not a catch. I think this was the worst one out of all of them, but it was not at, late in the game at the most crucial of times.
The ball moved at the end. That could not have been it. The deal where he puts his hand underneath it there and it hits the ground. It looked to me that it did not hit the ground. Did anybody think it did hit the ground?
It looked like to me the ball hit the ground in that scenario. It looked like he had control. Looked like the ultimate Bert Emanuel type thing. Where
even if it does hit the ground in that instance, I mean, should that still not be a catch? I mean,
it can't move when it hits the ground, and it moved after it hit the ground.
Yeah, to me it made sense that they left it as incomplete. I don't know.
For me, it was 50-50. If they would have called it a catch and reviewed it, it would have been a catch, and they called it incomplete, and they had to stick with it. I don't think it was really that bad a call at all.
That's right.
Had the missed field goal, which in the end didn't really mean a lot, but if you had 3 points, I'm sure it changes a lot for the rest of the game. You had the touchdown on defense. You had the big punt return, wasn't it? Get them to within the 10-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
You had, what else you had? You had the final fumble there, which sealed the deal.
Speaking of that punt return real quick, what in the hell was Carolina doing? There was no fair catch signal at all. They just stood there and watched him run by him. There was no whatever. They could have blown his ass up so easy.
Why was there not a...
And I don't know who it was for Carolina, but kudos for 97 for the Panthers, who looked to be about 6 inches taller and 100 pounds heavier than the Denver guy returning it, and he still caught him. So
yeah.
Kudos to that guy. But I agree that was awful, that they were just like, yep, you caught it. Take off. See you later.
Did he not get bumped before he caught the ball? How is that not a penalty? I mean, how is that not called? Amazing. Another horrible call. And who's the guy?
Hashtag ACC refs.
There you go. Early the defensive lineman for Carolina. If Carolina comes back and wins, they're probably going to have to score a couple offensive touchdowns. I would say he was probably by far their best player.
I'm trying to find a Super Bowl related trivia question.
I got one.
I got one too.
Real quick, also,
Mine
I
was
mean,
ruined.
it's going to get lost in all the things that happened, most notably because Denver won. The Carolina defense still played really, really well, other than giving up, a field goal or whatever on the opening drive where they marched down the field. Like, Denver had 2 or 3 other sort of big plays. That was about it. So, I mean, Carolina, the defense, I think, certainly played their role. It was the other 2 facets of the game that ruined it for the Panthers.
Special teams. They gave up, 17 offensive points, and that 1 touchdown came on that when they got the ball down at the 5-yard line. So, yeah, their defense basically both gave up 10 points. So pretty good there. Any other plays we missed? Any other thing that come to mind?
Cam didn't jump on the ball there at the end.
Yep, that too.
Yeah, I don't think he would have recovered it, but it was still surprising that he was just like, nope, not going to get it, not even going to try.
And the Denver interception that they fumbled, that could have been a huge play.
Yeah.
Okay.
First and goal and 7 if they would have recovered it there or something.
Yes, that would have been a great play for them. It seemed like there's probably 4 passes that should have been intercepted that weren't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Norman had 2 in his hands and he totally just flat out dropped.
Yeah, and Manning had that awful interception there early.
Mm-hmm.
Awful.
Man, some of those Manning passes really looked like an offensive lineman running the 40 at the combine. It was just like, I knew he hadn't been playing well recently, but part of me before the game was kind of like, it'll be warm, it shouldn't be windy, the nice weather, some time off, maybe he'll look a little better. And after the first pass, he tried to throw about 15 yards on a rope. It was like, nope, can't do it.
How about that sack where he tripped and halfway stumbled and he got back up because he didn't think he was touched and he fumbled the ball forward? Jesus Christ.
Are we talking about the dick sack?
The dick sack.
Yes.
I don't know what I liked better, if I liked the nut sack or if I liked it when Cam slid to avoid contact and then jumped up and pretended like, no, this is okay, I can get back up and run. Like, no, you cannot do that. That's against the rules.
Cam Newton, you played awful. You didn't face the music. I enjoyed this game more than I should have. Nathan Stacken, we go to you for the commercials. I thought, again, this was a poor year for the commercials, if not the worst of all time.
I thought this was the best batch in the last 5 or 6 years.
Really?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Stacken loved those Deadpool and X-Men Apocalypse trailers.
I thought that this year's batch, there weren't as many, it wasn't a really funny one here, a really funny one there. I thought they were very good pretty much all the way throughout. There were some that made me question it, but Doritos knocked it out of the park.
Doritos was good.
Stacken loved the constipation commercials. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, that one was a little odd. I got a kick.
Which were like 4 of them.
I got the drug companies, the pharmaceutical companies really like to get involved.
I felt like there were no erectile dysfunction commercials, but too many things with your bowels and intestines.
Well, that's because the pharmaceutical companies get all those erectile dysfunction. They put all their money into the regular season and the wild card and divisional round.
And that's why you vote for Bernie, because he's going after the pharmaceutical stack.
No, I thought Doritos knocked it out of the park with both of theirs, and I like the Puppy Monkey Baby one with the.
I was gonna say, which is the worst? Is the Puppy Monkey Baby the worst, or is it your parents did it after your team won the Super Bowl? Those were easily the 2 worst ones for me.
I didn't.
I thought the Puppy Monkey Baby was creepy as hell, and I kind of wanted to kill it because it looked like it lived a painful existence, and it needed the sweet release of death to finally quit experiencing pain constantly.
That one was not my favorite, but is the one that stuck out the most to me. And sometimes
I think that was the goal.
Yes. Yep. So, but I think Doritos easily the top 2. There were a couple of car ones that I didn't think were too bad. But yeah, Doritos immediately comes to mind as the clear winners tonight.
But the Amazon.
there's a commercial, and like it ends, but you know there's more after it. And the one that was like the worst, if it would have kept going, is the one with like the old guy who apparently may have been an astronaut or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, here's this car, and it's like, oh, they didn't show that he couldn't see, and he ran into a tree, killing both passengers literally 5 minutes later.
Speaking of cars, I thought Toyota had a really good one there with that chase, and they were making fun of the Prius. I thought that one was a really good one as well.
I like the one with the dogs and the hot and the ketchup.
Yeah, Heinz, that was good.
Larry, why did I like the NFL commercial seal and the singing and then the kids?
Because you knew that they were going to get somebody from Green Bay in 1967.
I said if they put a son of a bitch up there from the first Super Bowl, it's done. We got it, and they did. Also, Flandreau, 10 a.m. start tomorrow. West Central, 2-hour late start. Florence, Falda's 2 hours late. Florence is 1 hour late. George, Little Rock, there's no AM preschool. And Hamblin, also 2 hours. I know you can see the bottom line here, our closed line.
Buses on plowed roads only.
Okay, so if you live on the gravel, which is everybody, no start tomorrow.
Is the Flandreau Casino open?
Always
Yes.
is. Always is. Always will be. So there you go. David, what do you think of the halftime show? Serena Williams looked pretty good. What do you think?
Overall, I don't know if you guys got this through your TV that you're watching on too, but overall, at the beginning, I didn't know that they were actually starting. It kind of looked like it was almost halfway pre-recorded. I got a weird vibe from it. And then throughout, I wasn't a huge fan of the music. Beyonce was fine. I'm not much a Coldplay guy. I mean, it was a fine halftime performance, but the audio just seemed off, and it seemed like the mics on the singers were turned like way down. I had my TV on like 50. I could still barely hear them actually singing. The rest of the background noise and all the beats and whatever were loud as hell, but I still couldn't hear what they were saying. I don't know if it was just my TV or if they had some sort of malfunction or what.
I don't think they were actually singing. That's what
I was in the same boat. They always say that if you're in person for the Super Bowl that the audio is garbage, and it felt like at home the audio was garbage this year. I felt the same way. I couldn't really hear what they were saying. A lot of people on Twitter that I follow or saw, they seemed to like the Super Bowl halftime. I thought it was fine. I actually like Coldplay more than most people. I don't really care if people want to make fun of me for that. But and then Bruno Mars, he brought it like he did a couple years ago, and then Beyonce.
Beyonce brought that ass. I can tell you that.
She did. She sang a song that she dropped yesterday, and everybody was still into it, even though I didn't know the words to the song. And yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fine show. I mean, there's definitely been worse.
What can we do to get stacking? I know you're a big Taylor Swift guy. What do we got? What do we got to do here?
How much are you willing to donate to the cause stack, and how many tens of dollars are you willing to donate?
So to what cause?
The Taylor Swift halftime show.
Halftime performer.
Stacken was just disappointed his guy Bieber wasn't there singing.
The biggest thing I want is for Leonardo to actually get mauled by a bear. That would be the best halftime show ever.
Well, speaking of bears, Schottenkirk, big fan of the Bears. Multiple commercials with Bears. Talk about
Going back to commercials, circling the wagons here. The quickest way to my heart in a commercial is have some sort of animal involved, and there was a few good ones. I was sending Marcus messages. He's probably told you about the bears and the goats or whatever, the sheep or whatever they were later on, and a couple other ones. That bear one, I almost hit the floor laughing, so that tells you where my head's at. But
The bear one was funny. For the sheep one, does anyone think that they got Freddie Mercury to voice in it? Is he still singing? Always been dead for a long time? Never mind.
We were actually talking about the Doritos one. I kind of missed the first one with like the birth thing, so I don't really have much to say on that.
Oh,
but
man, I forgot about that one.
That was the first good commercial.
The second one with the dogs trying to get into the grocery store with the Doritos, I like that one. So,
I'm generally disappointed with the commercials anymore. It seems like Doritos is the only one that consistently makes me be like, oh yeah, I like that.
It's curious ones that we didn't see. No GoDaddy this year. Normally GoDaddy always does something.
Man. Squarespace, they moved in.
And Normally there's a dog one with the Budweiser commercial and the horses. Didn't see that one this year.
They cut that out. They only had the Clydesdales in the since 18 whatever commercial, and then everybody made fun of Budweiser because they didn't acknowledge that everybody took 13 years off for Prohibition, so they're kind of bullshit.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at this. Controversy. There's a commercial that I saw during this 9-hour game that I said that made me think of you. What commercial was that?
Of me?
Yes.
The one with the aliens and Scott Baio, and they wanted to know if you could feed Scott Baio.
It's kind of got something to do with something coming up here in the next while. Anybody, I open this to all comers. Larry probably knows.
I do.
We'll say Larry's he's the ineligible man downfield here.
Was it like a regular commercial, or was it a CBS in-house commercial promoting something?
It's not the NFL Super Bowl baby one, was it?
No, it was a very forgettable commercial. But this fits.
Think of me? I don't know if that is. Do I take this as a compliment or no?
It's not bad.
Okay. Well, I still don't know.
It was the PayPal commercial. To get the PayPal set up for the NCAA tournament.
New money.
New money.
We will be doing that this year. We will be doing that. I will be getting the group all set up, and I'll be setting up that PayPal account here soon.
Okay, so a good little tidbit for you. Not trivia. Well, it's kind of a hint at the trivia question I'm working on, but no team has ever lost the Super Bowl and scored a defensive touchdown. And much like Kriens said, no team has ever won the Super Bowl without an offensive touchdown. The Jets in Super Bowl III and the Patriots in Super Bowl 36 came the closest. Each had only one offensive touchdown in their Super Bowl victory. Now the Broncos win.
So every team that scored on defense is won?
Yep.
Wow. How about special teams?
Real quick, my last thought on the commercials, off principle, I think I have to say that if you ever see like the avatar before we log in, I think on principle I have to say my favorite commercial was every time they promoted Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck.
Nice. You noted Blue Blood Magnum PI.
Commissioner Frank Reagan, making sure the streets in New York are clean.
Same as they can do. The Devin Hester had that kickoff return, so.
They did not win.
Touchdown does not necessarily mean you can win the Super Bowl. Charlie, what do you think of the Lady Gaga, as Jim Nance said? Lady Gaga national anthem.
I'm not a big Lady Gaga fan, but I mean, I guess I thought she did a good job. I think she's obviously got I'm not a huge American Idol or Voice person, or The Voice, so I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on critiquing people singing, but I think obviously she's got a good voice, and I thought she did a good job, and she didn't go crazy. Sometimes people go crazy trying to emphasize different highs and lows on notes where that's not where it's supposed to be, and it didn't seem like she did that. So, I mean, I guess I thought it was fine.
Big controversy, huge controversy on the betting line, over-under on her performance.
Well, when does it stop? When she stopped, or when she added that little extra part at the end?
That was the controversy, because originally I was timing it because there was somebody in my group that had bet on it. Thankfully, I didn't. But the over-under was like 219.5. And this guy had the over, because generally you always take the over with the national anthem because they try to draw it out, whatever. And at 209, she said Brave the first time.
Really?
She sang Brave. There was a pause, and she came back with a second Brave. And with the second Brave, she was over. But then they went back and ruled that after the first Brave was out of her mouth, that the song was over. So he lost $20 in horrific fashion.
I like that call. Wade Phillips, I don't know if we mentioned him, but Wade Phillips, good job, defense.
Not a bum. Way to go.
This one's for bum.
This one's for bum.
This one's for Pat. John said,
would anything have been better is if they would have done that and Wade would have put on like a cowboy hat quick and then just a huge dip in his mouth just to be like, yep, in honor of his father. I would have liked that.
Mike Zimmer and Peterson would have put the dip in their mouth. I know that for sure.
Complete left turn here just for 2 seconds, but what was the deal? Elway says, I'm going to say something you're probably not going to like, and he goes, this one's for Pat. What the hell did we not like about this
No,
one?
He said Pat wouldn't like it.
Oh, I thought he was pointing at Jim when he said it. He probably won't like this or whatever.
Despite being dead, Pat's really judgmental in the afterlife. He's like, nope, don't talk about me.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, gotcha. Christ, his wife was dead up there talking. My God.
So literally, there's been some pretty terrible owners. I seem to remember Georgia Frontieri with the Rams being pretty terrible too. But holy shit, that was awful.
She honestly had to think, and she stumbled over what the name of the team was. she couldn't stumble.
The Denver Broncos.
Yeah. We all made fun of her because I thought she was going to say Denver Nuggets or Colorado.
And finally, the Avalanche have won another Super Bowl.
Who's the bastard, Stacking?
Kroenke, hate him.
Kroenke, Jesus Christ.
Good thing he has nothing to do with the Broncos.
Good. We had our list of the best Super Bowls in the last 20 years in our lifetime that we put together here.
Yeah, did you post that? I've been looking for that.
I posted it 10 minutes before the game started. After it was
way to capitalize on that momentum.
After it was noted that this was not posted, I think I was the only one to have Broncos Packers on my list, and I had it as my number 1. Broncos Panthers.
It was on my just missed the cut.
Mine too.
Safe to say that this game will not be. I'll probably put the 3 worst ones up tomorrow. This probably would not fit into the 5 best or the 3 worst.
Nope.
If I could rate this as good, bad, or medium, I would rate this as a medium game. It was close. It definitely was not one of the best ones I've ever seen, but it was close long enough. I thought it was pretty brutal typically when Denver had the ball on offense. I did enjoy watching Denver play defense against Carolina, though. I thought that was entertaining, and that keeps it from, I don't know. Out of all of them in my lifetime, this is probably rank right around the very, very middle.
Stacking, I do not believe you had the Patriots-Giants 18-0 game on there. Neither did I.
No, that was a just miss on my part, for me.
Traxler had it at 2. Charlie had it at 1. That was a very difficult game for me. I had it on my list, but then I read somebody's and I'm like, oh, I forgot the first Patriots one. That's got to be on there. So that ended up getting knocked off. Historically, might be the biggest historic Super Bowl I've ever seen, just because I've never seen anything like that before. But what, 7-3 in the fourth quarter, and I went back to, if I had to rewatch these games, would I want to rewatch that game? Fuck no, I wouldn't want to rewatch that game. But I had a great finish. The fourth quarter was fine. Charlie, how did you balance, historic greatness ending versus 7-3? Fuck, that's bad.
For the most part, I went with just based off which game. I did not do that for the Patriots or the Giants beating the Patriots the first time, which I had number 1, because of the historical significance. And then, as I think I mentioned in there, that as a Dolphins fan, I did not want to ever see another undefeated team ever unless it was the Dolphins again. And that is probably the most amped up in my life I've ever been for a Super Bowl regarding the result one way or another. And I think it was weird. I think it had a great first quarter and had a great fourth quarter, and then it just was very bland and mediocre in the second and third. And usually it's more like a good first half or a good second half, as opposed to the ends were very good of the sandwich, but the meat in the middle was not particularly great. But it was I always feel like if you've got a great ending, you can make up for a lot of flaws before that, and had a great ending, and the helmet stick thing stuck out enough for me. And I guess Eli avoiding the sack earlier, which the longer we go in years away from it, it seems like people forget that Eli probably should have been sacked. But I don't know. And also, I mean, I think it sometimes it plays a part like who you're watching it with, and that was I remember watching it in college with 6 or 7 other guys, none of us who were either Giants or Patriots fans, but all wanted the Giants to win, and so that was probably part of it too.
I still have to put together my worst list. I think Marcus and Charlie had that Broncos Seattle one. Which one did you have, Sack, in that one as well?
I think I might have put Baltimore and the Giants as the
I might go with that
worst one, but
those two would probably be the worst. Tampa Bay, Oakland is interesting because it wasn't close. But if we're going by my made-up rule of what I want to go back and watch this game, I would not mind going back and watching that game because at least one side was dominant.
Yeah. Number 3 was Seattle, Denver. For me, 2 was Tampa Bay and Oakland, and then number 1 was Baltimore and the Giants back in Super Bowl 25.
There you go. I have a trivia question here.
Yep.
Concerning this game. There were multiples here. It looks like, a good 20 or so. I'm looking for colleges. And I need a college that had 2 or more players from that college on these 2 teams here tonight. Denver.
Good thing I didn't. Good thing I didn't do that one.
Does this include like injured players or players on the
I
practice roster?
According to this, it includes active roster, injured reserved, and practice squad.
What is the question?
I'm looking for colleges that had players that played there that were on the 2 teams tonight. More than one, so at 2 or more.
Colleges represented by at least 2 players or more that in the game tonight.
That includes active roster, injured reserve, and the practice squad. So your Missouri Valley, highly represented, obviously. So we go down the line here, Charlie, Marcus, Nathan, David.
Real quick, I'm trying to run through my head. I can think of a lot of guys, and I can think of a lot of schools that probably have 2. I can't think of any off the top of my head that definitively have 2.
Also, if we want bonus points to get you hard, if you name the exact number, I'll give you a Tootsie Roll or bonus point.
Pride bonus points.
Pride bonus points.
I'm going to say Florida State. Let's say 3 Florida State players.
2 Florida State players.
Calvin Benjamin and the kicker.
Yep, for Carolina. Yep. Hildebrand still in the game. Marcus.
Well, I know this because the punter smashed his helmet after the game. Tennessee. The winning punter, I should add.
That was great. Did you say the school?
Tennessee.
Yes, Tennessee. Peyton Manning, the punter, 2 other jabrones on Denver, and a jabrone on Carolina.
Say 5 guys from Hale Rocky Top.
Yeah. ND Stacking at jacks.sdstate.edu. You're up.
All right, I will take Auburn with Cam Newton, Curtis Artis Payne.
Boom. Also had 2 other guys.
Cameron, sorry.
Cameron Payne. Also
Doesn't count. Stacking loses now.
Stacking got it. He did not complete the whole catch, Stacking. 4 Auburn guys are all on Carolina. David.
Charlie said Florida State, correct?
Florida State.
Ohio State.
Ohio State, number 1 on my list with 6. Ted Ginn, most notably the best of all time. Really. Hildebrand up.
Let's see.
The top 3 have been named, not including ties.
I'm just going to play the odds.
Iowa? What was it?
No, I said I was just going to play the odds and say teams that put a boatload of guys into the draft. I'm going to change my mind. I was going to say one school, and then I just looked on the TV and saw a guy standing at the podium, and I thought, well, Olsen went to Miami, and Miami's put a load of guys in the NFL, so I will guess the Miami. Or no, I'll go original Sports Lounge on TV and just do like Travis
Well,
and hold up the U.
Oh, Kelly.
Is it the same as when
Well,
Kriens confidently went the U and it was wrong, that I'm doing it and it's incorrect?
Similar to when I did it, it has not been said, but it's also not right. I do not see
Oh, no.
Miami
Oh,
on my
no.
list. I do not see Miami on my list, so he's the only Miami guy. There's one school on this list that I really like, but Miami is not one of them.
What about Ken Dorsey?
They can go to hell. Also, side note, 75 degrees at kickoff, 76 at kickoff. All these bastards in coats and jackets and hoodies. Are you shitting me? I know, the Bay Area gets cold there with the breezes, but 76 at the kickoff, dog shit.
The Drew Breeses.
Awful. The Drew Brees
I
is as
just
good.
really want a quick one to note. They just showed the Manning family going nuts and Eli not being excited, and I feel just like Eli right now after having got this question wrong and being the first to go out.
Miami,
I'll
huh?
take it. I'll
Marcus.
say
Marcus, whoa.
Sorry.
Whoa.
I will say Oregon.
Yep, they had three guys: T.J. Ward, Ed Dixon, who I don't think played, and John Stewart himself.
All right.
Stack and Letterbuck.
Michigan?
Yep, they're on my list, I think, somewhere. I can find them. Boop-a-doop. Funches, your guy, fucking Funches. And Schofield, some guy for Denver. There you go. David.
Nick Saban, University, Alabama.
Alabama on the list. Three guys: Roman Harper, Kevin Norwood, Evan Mathis for Denver.
I feel bad for Roman Harper. He looks like he's 50 whenever he takes his helmet off because his hair is so gray already.
He's only like 32 or something, too.
Yeah, he's not even that old. But he looks like he was playing back when Bill Walsh was coaching the 49ers.
Also, speaking of looking old, Lynn Swan, shave your beard, you look 80, for God's sake. Marcus.
I will go with Georgia.
Thomas Davis, Chuck Johnson, Fernando Velasco, the Velasco guy. Three guys for Carolina. Staffing.
Ole Miss?
You going with Michael Orr and somebody else? It's only Michael Orr.
Okay.
Old Miss, not on it. David.
Has Florida been said?
Florida has not been said. Would you
Cam
like to
Newton.
say?
I would like to say Florida then.
Florida's on this list, all for Denver.
I was going to say Florida until I changed to Miami. I shouldn't have switched.
Boom. Marcus.
I'm going to use the one that very well could be back pocket, but I'm going to use it now. Coastal Carolina, the Chance.
I had it if you're right, so.
Josh Norman, Mike Tolbert.
Damn right.
Either way, that still deserves.
Very good.
Hold down.
There's one on my list. That's not the team I'm looking for.
Thought it was.
David.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Stay alive. Yep. Marcus.
Missouri.
Missouri. Yep.
Fuck, I'm down to my back pocket, and my back pocket was Oregon State.
Oregon State. Yep. They got the old backup quarterback there, Anderson, and some other bastards.
And the right tackle that did not play well against Von
Remmers,
Miller.
Mike Remmers. Poor job, Remmers.
I will go with Notre Dame.
Old Notre Dame. Yes, three guys. David. Stay alive. Show me something, David Schottenkirk.
I'm not going to show you much. I know my favorite school of all time only had one, so I can't use that. I'm going to say Texas A&M because Von Miller and somebody else, hopefully.
I don't think so. I'm looking.
Yeah, gone.
Nope.
Over.
Larry Traxler, another one for the war chest.
I'm taking what I think is your. I'm gonna take a guess at what I think yours is, and I know it's because I know Aqib Talib. I don't know who the other guy is, and I saw this ahead of time, but Kansas has two.
Some guy, Chris Harris Jr., Denver, cornerback, pretty good.
Triple bonus pride points for Traxler.
Kansas
Bam.
cornerback, you apparently.
Apparently.
Right.
I like that on Twitter when Aqib Talib kept getting into trouble. People were saying that he was just taking out his frustrations with Kansas football. That made me laugh.
Other teams on here, I think Georgia Tech, Georgia.
I said Georgia.
You said Georgia, Colorado State had 3 guys from Denver, so regional. Nevada had 3 guys. Utah, Arizona State, the backup quarterback. Boise State, you forgot my boy Clady.
No, I didn't forget. Just didn't know who the other guy was.
God damn it. Duke, Maryland, Missouri was said. Traxler's North Carolina squad. The other San Diego State. Troy with DeMarcus Ware. Tulane had a couple, and Wisconsin had a couple. Of course, they were 2 Caucasians.
One of the first I thought of was DeMarcus Ware's at Troy, and I was like, nah, there's no way there's
Not
another
a
guy
chance.
from Troy in this game. Turned out there were more guys from Troy than from the U. Should have gone with Troy.
Zach, and you got one to tickle my fancy.
Yes, I do. And I came up with this one before CBS ruined it. So there have been 44 different players named MVP of the Super Bowl.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Please name them. We'll start with. We'll go reverse order. We'll go Travis, David, Marcus, Charlie.
You know how many answers there are? Multiple guys that have won multiple times.
Yeah, there are 44 guys who have won. You name a guy, and I'll tell him if you've won more than one MVP.
Joe Montana won at least a couple.
Yes, Joe Montana won 3 of them. Let me find him. Yeah, he won Super Bowl 16, 19, and 24.
Pretty good.
I guess if you want to say that.
Yeah, hot take. Pretty good Joe Montana.
Might only be the best quarterback of all time, but oh well.
Besides that, he didn't do it.
All right, David.
I'm going to take everybody's maybe ace in the hole, even though we probably all know it. One, Dexter Jackson.
Boom.
Yes, Super Bowl 37 with Tampa Bay. I'm sure everyone had that.
Well, I guess I don't have to keep remembering Dexter Jackson this whole time.
Marcus.
I will take Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, 3-time Super Bowl MVP winner in
Touchdown.
36, 38, and 40.
Don't call out touchdown Tom unless he's not in the game.
That's right.
Charlie?
I will take Stacken's all-time favorite NFL player, Bart Starr.
Yeah. You know who my second one is?
Who's that?
Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, never mind.
Right.
Ooh.
Well, he wasn't, but he did almost win an Academy Award for playing an NFL football player.
Well, he's gonna
before getting
win an Oscar this year, and I'm gonna be real pissed about it. But yes, Bart Starr, Super Bowl 1 and 2 MVP. Travis.
That won it an hour ago? Is he eligible?
Oh,
This-
what?
This year's Super Bowl is eligible?
Yeah, yep, it is.
I think Von Miller won it this year.
Oh, just barely, yep.
It was close. Either him or Talib. So.
Yeah. Schottenkirk.
How about my guy, Richard?
Boom.
Good old Dickie Dent.
Pissed off Walter Payton forever.
The only way that could have been better is if Schottenkirk would have lit up a cigar right as he said it, like Mike Ditka did in the 30 for 30.
Yes, he did. Super Bowl 20 with the Bears. Marcus.
I will go with the most elite quarterback, Joe Flacco.
Ah, yes. How could we forget Joe Flacco? Super Bowl 47. Charlie.
I will say sad-faced Eli Manning.
Two-time Super Bowl MVP, 42 and 46. Travis.
Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith, yes, only one time, Super Bowl 28. Sean Kirk.
My favorite murderer on planet Earth, Ray Lewis.
What about OJ? You went to USC.
Yeah, it's true.
Super Bowl 35, but OJ, spoiler alert, was never MVP of the Super Bowl.
Stephen Avery's my favorite. Just kidding.
Not old guy from Lawrence Phillips? Not Lawrence Phillips.
Nope, not my favorite.
Okay.
Marcus.
Yeah, maybe he should be. At least he killed somebody in prison already.
Does himself count or not?
It's a good question. I don't know. We'll have to leave that up to the judges.
We'll leave that to the hands of time. There we go.
Yeah.
Did anybody say Aaron Rodgers?
No one has said it yet. Super Bowl 45 MVP against Pittsburgh.
What if I didn't want to take him?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if Draxler wants to hold that for later?
No,
Well, then I would've-
I'll take it. I'll take it.
There you go. Your freebie. Everyone doesn't get one.
Charlie, no?
Charlie, yep.
I will say this could be real embarrassing because I think he won it. I'll just instead pivot and I will say Drew Brees.
Yes, Drew Brees, Super Bowl 44. Travis.
Troy Aikman?
Yes, Troy Aikman, the Super Bowl before Emmitt Smith, Super Bowl 27. David.
Roughly my fourth least favorite person on planet Earth, the one, the only, Desmond Howard.
Who are your top three? Am I on this list?
Never won Super Bowl
Am
MVP.
I on this list?
Yes, Desmond Howard, Super Bowl 31.
And stacking just for future reference, number one of my most hated is Dan Hicks. So
Okay. Am I in this top 3 or 4?
you're not the top. Feel safe.
Surprisingly, Left Shark, number 3. Schottenkirk did not like Left Shark.
Marcus.
I will go with Santonio Holmes.
Yes, Santonio Holmes, Super Bowl. Yo Holmes, Super Bowl 43.
Is he the only Mexican ever to win?
Laughing way too hard at that.
Charlie.
I'm trying to. I will go with everybody's favorite Hy-Vee grocer, Kurt Warner.
Yes, Super Bowl 34. Travis.
Steve Young won one as a starter and threw a shit ton of touchdowns, so I say he probably won.
Yes, he got the monkey off his back in Super Bowl.
Get this monkey off! Get this dog monkey kid off my back, he said. Let's go
Puppy
for
monkey baby.
Baby monkey, whatever the hell it was.
David.
And can you blame them? Nobody would want that abomination on their back.
Get it off of me. I'm a 35-year-old man. I got this thing on me.
Franco Harris.
Ah,
Franco Harris is on my list somewhere. Yes, Super Bowl 9. Marcus.
John Elway. Anybody say John Elway?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's my final answer.
Okay, yes. Super Bowl 33.
Just because I tricked you doesn't mean I don't get to keep my freebie.
Charlie.
I will say Larry Zonka.
Ooh, look at that.
Yes, Larry Zonka in Super Bowl 8.
Terrell
Hey,
Davis.
Travis.
Earl Davis.
Yes. Super Bowl 32.
Just for reference, do we have a free pass or not?
No.
Okay. Has anybody said Emmitt Smith?
Yeah.
Yes. But
Nice.
yes.
he's using that free pass.
Yes. He's been said. So you're out. Thanks for playing.
Joe West says, big on.
Marcus.
Otis with 2 T's Anderson.
Super Bowl 25. Charlie.
I will roll the dice and possibly do the exact same thing Schottenkirk just did. Has anybody said Peyton Manning?
No, they have not. Super Bowl 41.
He did it.
I could not remember if it was him or Reggie Wayne that won it.
No, it was the other murderer, Marvin Harrison.
Now Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's Hall of
Marvin
Famer
Harrison.
Marvin Harrison to you.
All right.
Travis.
I assume Terry Bradshaw won once.
No.
Terry Bradshaw won 2 MVPs.
Good.
Super Bowl 13 and 14.
Good.
Marcus.
GM Phil Simms won Super Bowl MVP.
Phil Simms won Super Bowl 21 MVP honors. Charlie.
I will channel my 60-year-old man and say Roger the Dodger, Roger Staubach.
Roger Staubach is correct. Super Bowl 6.
John Riggins.
Who? Yes.
John Riggins was the man.
John Riggins.
The
Super Bowl
last
17.
great white running back. That's the.
Well, until his son, Tim Riggins, in the television show Friday Night Lights on NBC.
Marcus.
The only quarterback to ever smoke a cigarette and drink a Fresca at halftime of the Super Bowl. Len Dawson.
Super Bowl 4. May or may not have been against the Vikings. I don't know.
It was.
Charlie.
You said smoke a cigarette and quarterback. I assumed you were talking about Joe Namath, but did not say him. I will now say Joe Namath.
Super Bowl 3. The guarantee.
Definitely wore a fur and smoked a cigarette at halftime, but no idea if he actually drank a Fresca. So you're going to have to check out.
Travis.
How about Jim Plunkett?
Jim Plunkett is correct. Super Bowl 15.
I was hoping that would be my other deep Money in the Bank one.
Marcus.
I'm going with the original Cam Newton, Doug Williams.
Doug Williams. Super Bowl 20.
Cam said nobody's been like him.
Nobody's been like me, going completing 40% of my passes, getting sacked 7 times. Nobody's seen anything like this in their lives. Okay. He was factual. I've never seen anybody get their ass kicked.
Charlie.
I will go with Kriens has recently said his favorite player of all time, Lynn Swann, and that he loved his beard.
Yes, Super Bowl 10.
I'm really glad that CBS gave us the cheat sheet to this one before the game.
That's why I said
I didn't watch any of the pregame.
That's why I said I hate CBS for this. They wrecked it, but
To be fair, a lot of these I would have gotten anyways. But
Travis.
McGee, the receiver for Green Bay, Super Bowl 1.
No. Bart Starr was your MVP.
You got gypped.
We are down to 2, Marcus and
Don't worry about it.
Charlie.
I will go with Mark Rippon.
Yes, Mark Rippon, quarterback, Washington. That was Super Bowl 26.
I am basically running out, and now I'm trying to think of any guys who maybe were not shown on CBS earlier.
There were 3
And
that
I've already,
were today.
and there were a lot that have been said already, and I do not do a good job of keeping track of who's been said after 4 or 5 or so.
And one of the 3 that wasn't there has been said, that was Bart Starr.
So they were all there?
There's one Super Bowl MVP that's dead, and the other 2 couldn't make it because of health reasons.
What did they do at the beginning?
I don't know.
Well, they had them all out there?
Yeah, they had all the living ones that could be there out there.
How about that?
I thought it was pretty neat. I enjoyed it. I thought it was
Cool.
fun. I'm going... Gosh, I don't know.
I'll just put the pressure on you by saying I have a couple in the pocket.
Whoa,
Yeah.
stop the press. Stop the
I
press.
figured you probably would.
Stop the presses. Kriens is wearing a Diamondbacks t-shirt. What the hell?
Diamondbacks, I'm going with San Francisco.
Yeah.
We got a new shipment for the baseball season here.
You had a Brewers hat on earlier.
I had your Brewers hat with the mitt.
Exact same hat I have, asshole.
Nice.
Step it up. Step it up. AL Central 95.
I didn't have any. I was trying to think of more, and just to not keep this going on forever, I will guess that Jerry Rice did it once.
He did. Super Bowl
Rip catcher.
23. Marcus.
I will go with Super Bowl 40 Heinz Ward.
Correctamundo.
I'm hating myself more and more every time because I dumbass me had to say Emmett Smith twice. I've got all these. I've still got like 6 names and one absolute one that you're not gonna get.
Good for you.
Fuck you.
I know this guy. I know he won at least one. I don't know if he was the MVP or not. I'm gonna guess that Kenny the Snake Stabler did.
Ah, look at this guy.
No.
Dog shit.
No.
Dog shit.
Screwed him over in death. Thanks a lot.
Marcus, do you just want to cement it?
I would like to, and it's somebody I had forgotten about until today. That'd be Deion Branch. Patriots.
Yes. Yep. Super Bowl. What are we at here? 39.
One of the numerous New England Patriots guys who was not good anywhere else, but was extremely good at New England.
Yep.
Ones that were not said. Only MVP to be on a losing team. Chuck Howley, Super Bowl 5 for Dallas. Jake Scott, safety for Miami in Super Bowl 7. Fred
Can
Bellick.
I read Super Bowl 48 for you?
Yes.
My guy, my lover, my guy, Malcolm Smith, USC.
Boo.
Others include Fred Biletnikoff, wide receiver for Oakland in Super Bowl 11. Randy White and Harvey Martin were co-MVPs in Super Bowl 12 for Dallas.
You just don't do that enough anymore.
The modern day Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware.
Marcus did not name his namesake of Marcus Allen for the Raiders.
Goddamn.
Marcus Allen was one I thought of, and then like 5 rounds later, completely forgot I forgot about him.
And then Larry Brown for Dallas in Super Bowl 30, cornerback.
First, I believe Larry Brown was the first player to not only win Super Bowl MVP, but win an NBA title and an NCAA championship. With the Pistons and the Jayhawks.
So,
Was that all the names stack in?
yep, that was all the names.
So
So you
we
guys
got
did very well.
except for like 6 or 7 of them.
Like I say, when CBS first started doing this, I was like, oh shit, they're just gonna take my trivia question that I had already done, and it's gonna be thrown out the window. But I'm glad some of you didn't watch pregame, so
If you have C-SPAN 1, Marco Rubio is holding a town hall.
Dude.
Right now, live?
I don't believe this is live, midnight.
I've got a super convoluted trivia question. You want to keep this 2 a.m. 4 a going?
I got one here too.
What did old Newton say?
I've
to
got
press
one
conference?
for future reference, but I'll wait till like the NFL draft to do that one.
What did Newton? What did he say?
Cam said 18 words total in his press conference. He said yes, no, and a few words, and then I don't know what the question was, but he just stood up and left.
He's going to get totally ran over tomorrow.
And
he should. He should totally do that.
And that's
Great tweet. He had as many completions tonight as he did words at the press conference.
And that's why I hated him and all this bullshit with him, because it for shit like that. Awful.
Do you want my convoluted trivia question or not?
Sure.
Is it name the 18 words that Cam Newton said at his press conference?
No, that'll be over quite quickly.
I was hoping that's what it was going to be because I thought that would have been fun. And when I did not know, I was going to guess dab.
This is a playoff of one that Marcus did a few weeks ago. I think I'm not stepping on any toes here. I think you went with the NFC and AFC sites that had hosted the championship game.
Yep.
We're going to go and we're going to make bonus points available on two different aspects of this as well. Stadiums to host Super Bowls, how many times a certain stadium hosted the Super Bowl, and for two extra bonus points, if you can give me the year. I've got a marker here. I can mark down the points. We're going to go
the season or the year?
The year the actual Super Bowl was.
So January of whatever.
Right.
So the season, okay. So this year would be, okay.
Right, and let's say here real quick, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 24, no, scratch that. There's a couple on here that are future. 23 sites of the Super Bowl. Only 23 stadiums have hosted
So
the
you
Super
want
Bowl.
the stadium and what number it is? So like Super Bowl X at this location?
The first thing you're going to give me is the stadium. That's what the question is. And for bonus points, you're going to tell me how many, you're going to guess how many Super Bowls that stadium has hosted. And then for more bonus points, if you can give me any of the years that they hosted the Super Bowl, you'll get more bonus points.
Balls on stick.
So, for instance, this is a future one. It's not going to count in this. If you said U.S. Bank Stadium and you told me one time and you told me 2018, you get 3 points.
All right.
4 points, because you get the
4 points, correct. 4 points, my bad. 4 points, yes.
So in this, do we not go out? We just go, and it's whoever's got the most points each turn at the end?
If you can't name a stadium, though, then you're out. If you have to,
You have to
in
get-
order to keep, right, in order to keep going, you have to name a stadium. So from my left to right would be Marcus first.
Okay, well, I will go with one of the easy ones. I will go with Ford Field. It's hosted the Super Bowl once. That was in 2006.
Yes, and that is all the bonus points. No. You got stadium. Metro Detroit. We'll go for that's fine. All right, you got 4 points. This is what I'm looking at.
Team, right?
Right. I want stadium. You're right. You're right. So you got for that one would be 4 points, and Travis is up.
Levi Stadium 2006, Super Bowl 50.
Yep, 4
No.
points. And I'm marking them down here, but try to keep track of your own too, so we can just double check stacking.
Now.
Lucas Oil Stadium, Super Bowl 46, Indianapolis.
And the year.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2012.
Okay, all three. You got 4 points so far. Charlie's up.
So stadium.
Stadium is the first thing
City.
you need to.
Okay, the Los Angeles Coliseum.
Yep.
What's
How many
next?
Oh shit! How many? Okay, how many? Okay.
How many?
Ugh.
Good.
I'm gonna guess. I know it's got to be more than once. I don't know. I'm gonna guess 4, with at least one of them being 1967, the very first one.
It is not 4 times, but you give me a year so far. It's twice, so you can guess another year and try to get 2 more bonus points. You got 67 right, so you're at 3 points right now.
1977.
Close, 73. So you're at
So
you're at
2?
3 points. Yes, it's just only twice. Yep. You're at 3 points. Back to tracks at the top, and he's got 4.
I would go with the Metrodome.
Yep.
One time, that was in 1992.
Correct. So it's another 4. You're at 8 right now. Travis is up.
I'm here to talk about Qualcomm, Jack Murphy, whatever the hell you want to call it, in San Diego. They have hosted 4 Super Bowls.
Incorrect, but you can still try to give me the years for 2 bonus points apiece.
How many there were?
They've hosted 3 times.
January of 1995.
Incorrect on the first guess. You can guess up to 3 years since it's been 3 times.
January of 2003. No. Yes. 2003.
2003 is correct. That's 2 bonus points. And then one more guess at a year.
January 98.
98. So yes, you got Qualcomm's. You got 5. You're at 9 right now, and we move to stacking.
MetLife Stadium in 2014 in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Super Bowl 48.
And what year would that be? I don't want the Super Bowl number.
2014.
8 points for stacking after 2 rounds. We're back to Charlie.
Skipping.
Yep.
Hypothetically, I'm gonna think of a city that has not had one. I mean, let's say
Topeka,
there
Kansas.
was one. Let's say there was one in London, like,
Right.
and there have been. Do I need to guess the exact stadium? Because like some places change names or like they tear it down and build another one.
Right. So if you give me a location and I'll more than likely take it. If you indicate which stadium or which one you want or whatever, I'll take
As
it.
long as it was there and it was named like that at least at some point.
Correct.
I will go with the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Yep.
Um,
And then you guess how many times you think that they've hosted it.
Miami's a pretty good location. I would imagine. I'm gonna guess 4 times.
Close, 5. So that means you got 5 guesses at years though. So this could add up.
Oh, look at
Oh
this.
man. One of them I believe was when Peyton won his first one in 2007.
I'll give it to you, but technically that wasn't at the Orange Bowl. But like you said, it's the same city. I'll give it to you. So that's 2 there. You got 4 more guesses.
I will guess 1970,
That would be incorrect.
1980,
Incorrect. 2 more guesses.
1990.
Incorrect. 1 more guess.
Boy, these ones that end in 0 aren't working well. I'm gonna guess 1987.
Incorrect on that as well. So you got 3 points that round, and I think you're at 6 after the second round.
6 total.
The years you were close on a couple. You said 70 was actually 69 and 71, and then you said 80, 79, and the other 2 were 68 and 76.
Son of a bee sting.
5 times in the span of 12 years was the Orange Bowl for the Super Bowl.
5 times in 12 years? Jesus Christ, go somewhere else.
Back to tracks.
There's only like 5 locations they ever need to have the Super Bowl period, and I think Miami's one of them.
And I'll say this: there's another location in Miami that has multiple ones, and Charlie said 2007, so that year's gone, but the name of that stadium is still available. That's
Okay.
big. That's kind of a big.
I'll take it up on that. I'll take, I think, what is currently known as Sun Life Stadium.
With Sun Life's, yeah, I'm going to say yes, but you're only getting 1 year to guess on that one, though, because that's the newest one, and that was only the last one.
Okay, Joe Robbie, whatever, Dolphin Stadium.
All right, you got all 5 cracks at years then. If you can tell me Joe Robbie.
Well, the other one, he said 2010, right?
2007. So technically, you got 4 guesses at years.
Okay, I want 2010 then.
Okay.
1999.
Yep.
And 1995, and then 1986.
You got 2010, 99, and 95 correct. The other one was 1989. So I believe that would be 7 points that round for you.
Cool.
You're at 15 right now, and we're back to Travis.
We're going for the big one here, boys. We're going Superdome.
Kriens' favorite location.
We're going with
This is going to be key because you're going to get a certain amount of guesses. You can tell me how many times it's hosted.
Look at the nuts on this guy.
Look at the nuts on this guy. 6.
Oh, I don't know how I should play this because it's actually 7. How many cracks at years you should get if you should get 6 or 7 years?
6 cracks then.
Oh,
All right,
I get a crack.
You get 6 cracks at years that the Superdome's hosted. The actual number is 7, but you'll get 6 cracks at it.
2013.
Correct?
1986.
Yes.
2002.
Yep.
1981.
4 for 4 so far, yep.
Wow.
1990.
5 for 5.
I love New Orleans.
He's killing it.
There's one more.
You got one more crack at it. There's actually 2 more years, but you got 1 crack at it.
Brett Favre, 1997.
Wow, 6 for 6. Look at that.
Cold-blooded. Cold-blooded.
And the one you didn't have
Jillion points.
Bang!
would be 13 points in my convoluted scoring system. I think the one you did not name was the first one in 78. So that was the 7th time. R2, back to stacking.
How many points I have?
You had 13 to your total of 8 before, then you're at 21.
Wow.
What?
Blackjack.
I'll stay at 21.
I'll take University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Super Bowls were hosted there in 2015 and 2012.
So you're going to get a point for the stadium, you're going to get a point for twice, and you're going to get 2 points for 2015. So you got 4 that round. The second year was actually 2008. That was the first Giants.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that other one was in Indianapolis. That was the perfect stadium. I fucked up that one.
Well, now we got to start this whole fucking thing over again. We just fucked it up.
Go around the line checking on points. Travis has, 21, I believe? Marcus, what do you have yourself at? Just to see where...
I have 15.
Correct. Stacking, you been keeping track or not?
Yep, I have 12 by my calculations.
Yep. And Charlie, have you been keeping yours too or not?
6.
All right. All right, then we're good. Then we're to you, Charlie. There's still one big one on the board that could get you right back in it.
There's a place that I know's had it. I don't have a clue what the name of the stadium was, though. I'm gonna guess that the Rose Bowl's done it at least once. So I'm gonna say the Rose Bowl in Los Angeles.
The Rose Bowl is correct, and your official guess is once, or do you want to revise that?
No, I bet it's more than once. I've guessed 4 every time. I'm gonna guess 4 times.
You're going to get 4 guesses at years. It was actually 5 times. So far, you got 1 point, and you got 4 guesses at years that the Rose Bowl hosted the Super Bowl.
I honestly don't have the slightest clue. Anytime it's been in the Rose Bowl, instead of guessing each year, I'm going to probably just guess 4 years in a row. I'm going to guess 91, 92, 93, and 94.
Man.
93 is correct, so you got 3 points that round. The 5 times the Rose Bowl hosted was 77, 80, 83, 87, and 93.
I should have gone 80, 81. Whatever. Up to 9.
Back around the Marcus, I think.
I will go with one that's kind of maybe a little risky, but I will say Tulane Stadium.
Correct.
I know it hosted twice. I'm going to say 3 times.
3 times correct again, so it's 2 points so far, and you got 3 corrects at the years.
I know 1970 and 1975 because of the Vikings.
Yep.
And then Superdome was not far behind that, so I'm going to guess 1972.
Wow, look at that. 3 for 3, all of them. There you go.
Damn.
So that would be 8 points that round for Mr. Traxler. You got all 3 years, 70, 72, and 75.
So I put Traxler at points-wise.
23.
So Marcus is at 23. Yeah. Marcus 23, Travis is up, and he's only 2 points behind him. And Travis, go for it.
University of Stanford Stadium?
Yeah, I won't be dick. We'll take it. It's Stanford University. I hate when people say University of Stanford, but yeah, we'll take it.
Once?
Once, correct. 2 points so far. You're tied. If you give me the year, you'll take the lead.
1985?
Yep, you got the lead. 4 points that round. You're at 25.
What would that be like if you were a Stanford student and it's just like, oh yeah, we're having the Super Bowl here?
Stack.
I will go with Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida.
Ooh, the Mecca.
And hosted it once between the Patriots and the Eagles, and this one was in 2005.
Yes. You got it all. 4 points that round for stacking. And how many stadiums are left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The top 7 are gone. This ties up to there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe there's 7 left only. And we're back to Charlie, I believe.
Back to me?
Yeah.
I don't know if they hosted one here, but I know that like when you build a new stadium recently, like you get one and it's really nice. So I'm gonna guess AT&T Stadium in Dallas/Arlington.
Yep.
It's not been around for very long, so I'm gonna guess there's only been one there.
Yep.
I don't have a clue what year it was, but it was recent, so I'll guess 2010.
Close. 2011.
3 points again?
2 points.
2 points. Up to 11. Just need a king.
Marcus?
There's 6 left, unless I'm counting right. I believe there's 6 left.
I will take Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's a 2-time host.
Correct.
And it hosted in 2001.
Yep.
And 2009.
Yes, 6 points that round. 7 points that round for. No, 6. My bad. I can't do math.
Yeah.
6 points for Jackson. And that puts you at, I believe, what, 29?
29.
Travis is up, and he's at 25, 4 points behind it.
Georgia Dome hosted twice.
Correct.
That was my next one.
Yes. And the years?
2000.
Yes.
94.
Yes. Travis retakes the lead with 31. Stacking.
Mike Remmers.
Reliant Stadium in Houston.
I'm I'm very impressed that you guys have not missed a stadium name that hadn't hosted. You're still all in. Yes, Reliance Stadium has hosted.
The two I had have just been taken right in a row. I got to figure something out now.
Now, I can't say two, even though they're hosting next year, so they've only hosted one,
Right.
and that was, of course, in Houston, and that was in 2003.
Close. You got closer. You're going to say 2002. You said 2003. It was actually 2004.
Oh, okay.
So 2 points that round for Stack. Charlie.
I
Oh, what?
had one, and I just forgot the name of the stadium. The one in San Francisco that was just built recently. Or was that set already?
That was said earlier on.
Wow. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of stadiums now in general. I will guess it was randomly at, I don't know. I can't think of any. I will bow out because I'm with my 11 points. I think I'm obviously not going to win. So I will bow out and let you guys fight it out for first place.
The delegates have spoken.
Fair enough. That moves us to Marcus. He's at 29, 2 points behind Travis.
I will take Chris Berman's favorite stadium, the old Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 2-time host. And I
That
know,
ties in. Yep. Go ahead.
I know it hosted in 1991 because there was a big Gulf War Super Bowl.
Correct.
And
You're at a 2-point lead so far.
I'm just going to guess, like, 1986.
Close. 1984.
Okay.
You're at 33. Travis is at 31. Travis is up.
In memoriam of friend Drew Amon, I'll take his favorite stadium, the Funk Stadium, the Silver Dome
Yep.
in Pontiac, Michigan, site of WrestleMania 3. It's hosted one time because why the fuck would you go to Detroit for a Super Bowl?
Yes.
It was in the early 80s. $1983.
So close. 82.
Wasn't that the John Candy Super Bowl?
That was the Miami Super Bowl.
Miami was that, okay.
Boomer Esiason and the Bungalow.
Marcus and Travis are both at 33. Stack, and you're up. How many points do you have yourself down for right now?
Did I get 2 or 3 last round since I got everything but the year?
You got two.
Oh, I thought I had 3.
He got the stadium, he got the number, and he got the one time. No, he got the year wrong. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, he got the
How
year
many are
wrong.
left? We got 3, 4 left?
I think there's only 3.
Yep.
Okay. I'll take Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe,
Wow.
and it hosted one time in 1996.
Correct. Add 4 points to your total. What does that bring you to on your own total?
22.
That was a good year for Arizona because that was the same year that Arizona State played in the Rose Bowl.
Marcus 33, Travis 33, Stacking 22, and there are, again, I think 2 left. I should scratch it out a little bit better, but Marcus is up.
Well, I will take the one that I know is still out there. I will take Rice Stadium in Houston. There's a one-time host, and I have no idea what year. I'll say 1976.
It's pretty good guess for not having any idea. It was 74. You got 2 points.
But patriotic +1 for guessing the bicentennial.
Yes.
Right. That puts you at 35. Travis has to get the stadium and the amount of times to tie in the year for the win.
For the win!
I don't think I'm going to win.
Oh boy, look at that! I fucked it all up. What a
No,
horrible
no.
trivia question.
No.
Oh no! Oh no!
What'd you do?
I think that was the last stadium.
I can't because I don't have any more.
So we're gonna work this a different way. Technically, since Mark said one more crack at it, we're gonna call it a tie.
This
I'm
isn't soccer, for Christ's sake. Come on, man.
I'm gonna come up with a real quick off the top of my head tiebreaker. Since 2010, so 2010 through this year, all 7 Super Bowls, combined points in the 7 games. Closest to the number wins.
Shit.
Am I allowed to do some math quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
This is what Super Bowl is this starting with?
It would be Super Bowl 44 in 44 in 2010.
Yeah. Is it Bob Barker rules or not?
No, just closest. If you're over, I'm not gonna. If you're closer than the other guy, you'll still get it.
Counting tonight, correct?
Counting tonight, yes.
Can you start the machine within 24 hours or not? 7 games.
Whoever wants to fire away here.
Just give me a few more seconds.
Okay.
Math is hard.
I just came up in my head, even though I'm not playing, of this is what it would average to be. But if you actually know what the score is in all of them, you can figure out the exact number.
Oh no, my math's bad.
And technically, it's on Marcus to guess first since he was the left and right.
All right, give me a second here.
I better fuck up the roof.
So while we're waiting, Stack N, which was your favorite of all of Cam Newton's touchdowns where he gave a ball to a child tonight? Which time was your favorite?
I'd have to say the time that it was probably in pregame warm-ups when he found Devin Funchess on a post in the end zone. I thought that was the best one.
Are you ready here?
I've got my number.
I do too.
Okay. All right, I'm ready. Marcus, fire away.
My guess is 335 points.
Mine was 310.
Okay, well,
Calls it
Marcus wins, and he was stunningly enough only 9 points away from the actual number.
Goddamn.
And with Travis's guess of 310, if tonight's Super Bowl had not counted, you would have hit it on the nuts. But with tonight, it was 344.
Well, if you would have told me tonight would have counted.
I was going to guess 350. If only I would have gotten more than 11 points in this game.
I think I clearly said twice that tonight counted.
You did.
There was one game I was missing in there. I don't know which game it was.
I just went, I'm going to guess in 7 that there was an average of 50 points in every game. So 7 times 50 is 350.
And, yep.
You've been right.
So what a waste of time that was.
All right.
I thought it was good, and I kind of like it when it's a little bit different and there's points total as opposed to just 1 point each round in advancing. It's kind of fun when it's a bit different.
Yeah.
A little bit more strategy.
Marcus, you have one to wrap up the night.
I bet looking back, everybody wishes they would have been like, no, I need to pick the one that had like 8 Super Bowls first and not guess the ones where there was just one there right away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is the first lounge to cross over days.
Okay. Well, Pro Football references.
Pro Football Focus, you said. Okay.
No, that's not what I said. Super Bowl play index is a little funny, but I'm going with any person to score a non-offensive touchdown in a Super Bowl.
Oh, boy.
Ooh,
So
that's a good question.
special team scores count, defensive scores count, but for the sake of this drill, I don't have safeties. So touchdowns only. And let's see here. There's 5, 10, 14 defensive touchdowns and 13 return touchdowns, kickoffs or punts. So 27.
Well, no punts. They said tonight there's never been a punt return for a touchdown in a Super Bowl.
Well, son of a bitch. Maybe these were all kickoffs here in this little list here, and I just didn't pay any attention.
Or unless Phil Sims lied to us.
Well, it doesn't matter. If it's a kick and it says they scored, I mean, for this,
Right.
it doesn't matter if it's a
Okay.
kickoff or a punt.
I have the teams for all but a couple of them, but I have a pretty good feeling you're not going to get those anyway, so it's fine. So we'll start with Charlie, then go to Stacken, then go to Schottenkirk, then go to Kriens.
I, for the first one, will guess maybe the only one where he needed half an hour to catch his breath afterwards and say James Harrison, with that one that he ran about 300 yards for a touchdown against the Cardinals.
Yes, it was exactly 100 yards and was a pretty big play in that game. Mr. Stacken.
Tracy Porter.
Tracy Porter in Super Bowl, let's see, 44, I think.
Yeah. So we're naming just the player, or
Just the player, yep, that's fine. Yep.
Just name the player, not the game.
That's right.
You can hate either one.
Mr. Schottenkirk.
I think, I already kind of forgot, but I think Blake Jackson fell in the bowl tonight for the touchdown.
Who?
Malik Jackson tonight.
Yes, for Denver, fumble return of 0 yards. Kriens.
Schottenkirk's favorite player, Desmond Howard.
Desmond Howard, yes, Green Bay. Charlie?
I will take everybody's money in the bank one and say Dexter Jackson for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's right. That's right. Although, where the hell is he on here?
I don't actually think he
At
scored.
least I
touchdown.
think he did. Maybe he didn't.
I don't think he did. I think he just had 2 picks in that game.
Yeah, he's not on here, so maybe that didn't happen.
Thanks a lot, Dexter Jackson. You really screwed me over.
Nuts and bolts, we got screwed.
If you do remember...
Well, it wouldn't be a fitting trivia question if Charlie didn't go out early, despite being quite confident with his answer.
All right, Charlie, you're out.
Unless everybody else gets it wrong.
That's true. That's true.
not going to. Malcolm Smith.
Ooh, look at this guy.
Malcolm Smith, yep. Just a few years ago.
I would have completely forgot about him if you hadn't said I.
Yeah, Dexter Jackson, 2 picks, was Super Bowl MVP, but did not score a touchdown. That was based on fan vote that year, MVP.
Yes. I'm surprised an Asian didn't win.
Schottenkirk.
I'm going to do it again, but has anybody said Devin Hester?
It's not been said.
It's probably still wrong.
Well, he did do it, so you're gonna...
I thought it was just on the winning teams that we were doing this for.
Come on.
Only the blacks. You're only counting the blacks. Am I up?
Who?
Am I up? Second.
I'm not picking up on anything you're saying.
Am I going?
He's asking if he's up.
You are up. Yeah, go.
Percy Harvin.
Percy.
Percy.
Yep, he did it.
We did it.
Oh, you're gonna make me pick the guy, aren't you?
Yeah, it's your turn. You got to pick.
Yes, I am.
Yes, we are going to force you to play this game when it is your turn to play and stack in.
Well, I'm just trying to think.
Think harder.
Jason Sehorn?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry. Although there is another Giant in that Super Bowl that is on this list.
That's who I was thinking.
Yeah, he's a pretty big nobody.
Shit, I just thought of one.
David.
I don't know, but I'm going to guess my favorite murderer again, Ray Lewis.
No. Not on the list. Kriens,
Leon what?
Kriens, if you
Travis.
can, you'll wind up.
Jermaine Lewis, Ravens.
God damn it.
Jermaine Lewis, yes. In that Super Bowl, Ron Dixon for the Giants returned the kickoff.
Thank you.
He was the only cat in that game to score for the Giants.
I said wrong Lewis in that goddamn Ravens game.
I had Larry Brown in the tank. Was Larry Brown doing it or not?
Larry Brown didn't do it.
Jacoby Jones did, though.
Yeah.
Other guys of recent time, Willie Brown, I think he did that to the Vikings. Oakland. Nick Collins for Green Bay against Ben Roethlisberger. Calvin Hayden had a pick six for Peyton Manning in his first Super Bowl victory. Dwight Smith was the guy for Tampa Bay. He scored twice in that Super Bowl. Also,
How did he not get the MVP?
Christ.
I don't know.
That's right. I knew there was something. There's no way Dexter Jackson should have done it. If he didn't get any and another guy scored twice in the game.
It's just like John Scott winning the NHL All-Star MVP, Dexter Jackson.
Well, except people actually watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Other notable names, Derek Brooks in that same Super Bowl, Ty Law for New England to beat the Rams, and Dwayne Starks for Baltimore in the Super Bowl where they killed Kerry Collins. Also, Tim Dwight for Atlanta in the Super Bowl that the Vikings probably should have done.
Do you have the guy from the Oakland Raiders that picked off the Joe Theismann screen pass? That
Maybe that was Willie Brown.
If you don't have it there, but yeah, okay, that's probably who it
Jack
was.
Squirek, he scored for Oakland. Maybe that was one.
I'm just glad nobody said Leon Lett.
Leon Lett.
Came close. Of high and tight.
Also, Vikings Terry Brown scored in the Super Bowl fumble recovery before everything went south. I don't remember who that was against. Maybe that was against Oakland.
We're happy for him.
So that does it. Nice and
That
tough.
does it. Sports Lounge, 1:55. It's 12:13 a.m. Central Time. Looting continues in the streets of Denver. Any final thoughts? Super Bowl edition. Carson Wentz. Let's hear it.
My final thought, I get Drew to this victory parade since he's such a huge Bronco fan living in Denver. I came up with a reason why he could show up. It's baseball related. They are starting the parade at outside the stadium of one of my favorite baseball stadiums, Mile High Coors Field. Let's go. Let's get on into the parade on Tuesday. Let's do it.
That's that.
I'm probably the only one that doesn't have to work tomorrow, so I'm not worried if this keeps going longer. But I'll keep mine short. My final thing was we don't see very often where guys who are legends get to win a title and walk off into the sunset, and I don't think it's official yet, but we all certainly think that Peyton's going to do that. So even though he didn't play great and they did not win it solely because of Peyton, I think it's fun when you get to see a guy who's one of the all-time greats and a surefire Hall of Famer getting to go out on top. That's kind of fun.
Because he was a guy that was, college, everybody knew about him, and he never won the Heisman, he never won the national title, and he never won the Super Bowl for the longest goddamn time. And he ends it with the Super Bowl.
And he's well-liked.
And he's well-liked until these drug
Almost
allegations ramp up this offseason. Everybody will hate him for a while.
We'll wait till he comes back like Jordan, going to play for the Wizards, and just doesn't do very well.
Or Favre.
It usually doesn't work out when you come back one more year, but goddamn it, it did for him.
It almost, as you point out this week, it almost worked for Joe Montana.
It almost worked for Joe Montana. We had plenty of blog action there. Super Bowl week on the blog, at our top 5 games. Have our 3 worst probably tomorrow. And some look at the best game-changing plays, I guess you could call it, in Super Bowl history. And also...
Yeah, you did most of those. I thought they were all good. I really liked the hypothetical what could have been in the Super Bowl ones the most.
That was fun.
I thought those were really fun. I like those.
I know you and Nathan also liked the Jacksonville Carolina one that could have been. That would have been something different.
Yeah.
And I thought about one I did not have on the list that I should have was the Vikings Broncos in '98.
Yeah, wasn't it if Broncos played the Jets that year, right? AFC. Yep. Yeah, that probably wouldn't have been that good.
Also could have been...
After watching that 30 for 30 on the 85 Bears, I'm kind of glad my Dolphins didn't play the Bears again in that season. I don't think it would have gone well.
You could have had Vikings-Jets in '98, also Vikings-Jets in '09.
Yep.
In both years. And I have not seen the 30 for 30. It sounds good. It looks good. Was this one of the better ones they've ever done?
To me... Like, I don't know which one's my all-time favorite. It was definitely in the top 5, I thought. I thought it was really, really good. And I think the thing I like the most is, like, the very end, like, after the commercial break and it comes back the last time. And it's just these guys that are all, in, like, their 50s, like, reflecting on everything, looking back and being like, yeah, we truly were great. And I don't know. The whole thing was good. I really liked that at the very end, though.
I didn't see the whole thing. I missed the beginning part, but I watched it this morning when it was on ESPN2, and I liked at the end. I won't spoil the end, but I think it says a lot about, they won a championship. They were one of the best teams ever, and everybody that was living, they asked, would you go back and do it again? They all said they would, and I think that's part of the allure of football. I mean, a lot of these guys, they're battered. These guys from the Bears were battered. I mean, Walter Payton, granted it was because of liver disease, died at 46 years old or whatever it was, and Dave Durson ended up killing himself. And there's other guys who are living with ailments that are going to be with them for the rest of the time, but they wouldn't trade it. And I think a lot of guys in the NFL currently wouldn't trade it. The ones who would are getting out. I mean, that seems to be the case. But it was enlightening, I thought. I mean, they were probably one of the biggest teams as far as swagger goes all time in sports.
Can't put a price on fame and glory.
I also liked how they talked about how all these guys got endorsements, and like even the shittiest players were getting endorsements just because they were on the team. And that's got to be pretty cool if you're like the backup linebacker and you're cashing some checks for a local tire company, because that's going to be pretty cool.
I thought Mongo McMichael was maybe the most interesting guy. And I don't know. I just, like, I like it when guys at times are, like, not always, like, bragging. Like, at times there's a little element of humbleness, but, like, when push comes to shove, and they're like, so how good were you? They're like, oh, yeah, we were fucking better than everyone else, and we destroyed them. Like, when you get down to, like, the real nitty-gritty, and they're like, oh, yeah, we were fantastic, and we were better than everyone else. And I always think that's kind of fun.
I think one thing that's interesting...
friends.
I think one thing that's interesting to contrast, I don't mean to drone on here, but with the Bills, they were good for 4 years and they didn't win the Super Bowl. The Bears were good, but they had one crack at it and they won. And there's something to be said for that. And I think, the whole thing was really interesting, and it provides some perspective. I mean, we saw the 30 for 30 on the Bills, and obviously for somebody who wasn't around or cognizant really of that time, it opened my eyes to the Bills other than just being 0 for 4 in Super Bowls. And this did the same with the Bears. I got a better appreciation for the team.
It's also really fun hearing the Bears guys talk about how they got in fights at practice, and like we're literally like, no, I took my helmet off and this guy punched me and knocked me out cold and stuff like that. That's fun.
It's not like they made a whole bunch of title games and with them. I mean, they were kind of, they were good for a couple of years and then they weren't very good for a long time. So.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it yet. I'll see it sometime on the 10,000 replays here. But
I think they were kind of like the Rams. Well, no, I guess the Rams made another Super Bowl. So, but like, yep, they were good for 5 or 6 years, but it was just that 1 year when they were really, really good, and then every other year couldn't quite get it done and got worse each year.
I haven't seen it, and I don't know if they do this or they mention this, and I think I got this right, but I know we mentioned the Bill Parcells quotes and how Drew doesn't like him and all that shit. But I think Mike Ditka, when he was hired, said something at a practice early on saying, the good news is we're going to win the Super Bowl in the next couple of years. The bad news is half you guys won't be around to see it.
They talked about that. They mentioned that in there.
And I think that is a terrific goddamn quote right there.
That is.
There's a lot of good lines in it. There's a lot of guys that are quotes machines in it.
Any other thoughts as we wrap it up? 155.
I already took my last thing, but I'm going to take 2 more things real quick. I'd hate myself in the morning if I didn't bring it up. My guy in Phoenix this week, golf tournament, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, Hideki Matsuyama, Japanese superstar, outdueled Ricky Fowler in an epic playoff this afternoon that bled into the beginning of the Super Bowl. If that was a major championship, people would have been talking about it for ages. It was one of the best duels I've seen on a regular PGA Tour event ever. Hideki got it done in the 4th playoff hole. He's off to a good start this year. This is a big year for him. He's going to be the next Ricky to explode, and Ricky's won 4 times the last year, so good for him. And if we don't break down what's above me next week, that's going to be going on relatively soon, I'm going to be disappointed. If you can't see the finish line at Daytona, Daytona 500, 2 weeks away. We got to break it down next week.
We'll break it down next week. Also, John Manziel, you had a good run. Rest in peace. I'll say
he's probably going to beat Titus Young to the grave at this rate.
I don't know. I'll take my boy Titus Young on this. Cam Newton, put him on the list as well. I'll say, last year was the Patriots bullshit. Then you sprinkle in some Ray Rice and Peterson shit before that. And 09, 2010, 2011 offseason, Brett Favre, that was all it was. Is Johnny Manziel going to be the off-season thing that never ends? Or is there something, Peyton Manning, this thing shouldn't take more than a week or two. Is there some other storyline that you think will dominate the headlines because something will, whether it's Peyton Manning HGH shit, or somebody else beating their kid or wife, or somebody else dying, or if there's nothing at all, they'll manufacture something and they'll make something up.
I think Calvin will be dominant at least for a little while until an official decision is made.
Calvin Johnson retired, Marshawn Lynch calling it quits at 21 years old. Anything?
The overriding theme for me this offseason is I think that there's going to be a lot of shock free agency moves. A lot of guys going to places that necessarily aren't very good teams, but they're going to take the money. And I think you're going to see that even more now with some of these younger guys that are just getting off their first contract. They're going to take the money. They're not going to take. They're going to, as much as they can get, if they have to go to Jacksonville, if they go to Oakland for that first huge contract, they're going to go to different places that they probably wouldn't have gone to in the past because I think everyone's starting to understand that there is a more and more, seemingly every year, there's a time limit to careers, and you got to cash in when you can.
The Manziel story will be a story for as long as Manziel keeps it a story. I mean, I feel like that could be for a while.
Just go to rehab.
The quote that kicks me every time is from his dad that says he may not live his 24th birthday. I have no idea why he said that publicly, but it certainly ratchets it up the intensity of this in a big way. So he's got to get it figured out. I mean, football is done for him. I even saw the Cowboys, kind of said we're not going to take him. And if the Cowboys are done with him, I think that's quite a bit. So he's got to get it figured out. Otherwise, maybe this is going to be a matter of life and death.
It's not going to happen. There's like a 0.001% chance, but just on the off chance, my guess is the drama is going to be Bill Belichick, Tom Brady are going to have a spat. Patriots cut Tom Brady loose, picked up by the Buffalo Bills, and then we're going to have the every time, looking forward to whatever week the Pats and the Bills play. Tom Brady against his old coach.
And Rex
Ryan's going to find a way to just push all the right buttons to get everyone just like stoked to see it.
Tom
Like,
Brady.
it might be on Sunday and it's the only game on Sunday. They're going to be like, no, we're playing every other game on Monday and Thursday. This game needs Sunday all to itself.
Tom Brady, Denver. Let's go.
That'd be.
So we got two more seasons until a potential lockout sort of deal.
I think it's still 3 seasons after like 2.5 years.
What, Super Bowl in Houston next year?
Super Bowl in Houston next year, yep.
Super Bowl in Minnesota in 2 years.
Right, and nothing's so it could be 2 Super Bowls, but it would be technically 3 off seasons, whatever you want to call it. But
So after the Vikings Super Bowl, then they got to do something.
Yep.
correct.
The dream scenario for me, Mr. Stacken: Vikings win the Super Bowl, they never play football again.
It's a storybook
Okay.
ending. It'd be just like Jerome Bettis, John Elway, and Peyton Manning.
Would you take if Vikings win a Super Bowl in 2 years, but the NFL ceased to exist, no more football? Would you take that?
Yes.
Yep.
Done and done. Let's do it, men.
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't. Charlie, against the Packers.
Since I'm no longer a resident of the state of Minnesota, I would love to see that stadium just go unused then.
Okay.
Just like host the Super Bowl, then that's it. And I would watch.
And WrestleManias and the Monster Jams.
Two Final Fours and 1 WrestleMania, and that's it.
And like 72 Monster Jam events.
Well, by the time, 2 years from now, I'm sure the Twins or the Saints will need a new stadium. So they can just use the Vikings Stadium.
Yep, that's true.
And then in a decade, it can be the scene for the climax of a Michael Bay movie and be exploded.
Yep. But for real this time.
Yeah, but for real.
Next week, basketball. The round ball takes over, sirs. We got a month to go to the big tournament in Sioux Falls. We got a month and a half to go to the big tournament around the country. For David Schottenkirk, for Nathan Sackett, for Marcus Traxler, for Charlie Hildebrand. Safe travels to Drew Alman as he ticker tapes his way up and down whatever the hell they call the main street in Denver. Travis Kriens, not only supporting the Snakes, but supporting the hometown Giants. There you go. Peyton Manning. Cam Newton, you did well. Peyton Manning did a little better. Sports Lounge 155. Everybody, go to bed.